Hey gamers, Maniac here with GameAccess.net. Maybe some of you guys have brand new Nintendo Switches that you might have gotten for Christmas or sometime after the holidays. Well, I'm sure, like you fell in love with the console, just like I did, and you're trying to find some great games for it. Now, we're not going to tell you guys what games you should and shouldn't get for the system. That's entirely up to you. But my recommendation is that you're going to want to get your hands on some extra special accessories for the console, especially if you plan to play it quite a bit. Now, what we're going to do in this video is we're going to break down what is included with every Nintendo Switch console, our recommendations for what you should get and where to get it, and a couple of extra surprises that Nintendo has made that you might want to make use of. So stay tuned, and we're going to get started now. Everyone who goes out and buys themselves a Nintendo Switch will pretty much know this in advance, but this is essentially what you get with the $300 price point for a Nintendo Switch. You get yourself the Nintendo Switch tablet, 2 Joy-Cons, and the color of the Joy-Cons depends upon what kind of setup that you want. In this case, we're using the red and blue controller setup, but what you get may vary. I've seen 2 gray controllers, and of course, there's always special promotions with that. You get yourself the dock, you get yourself a AC power cable that essentially goes from AC power to USB that can be used to charge the tablet or the dock directly. And you get yourself an HDMI cable, which is going into the TV right here. And you get yourself a not really a charging stand, but essentially a controller assembly, so that you can take the 2 controllers out of here and slide them into here and use them independently while the dock is charging. You can also get 2 head covers for the Joy-Cons. I don't have them right here on camera, I'm sorry about that. So that you can use the Joy-Cons independently for 2 separate players, or if you just want to use 1 Joy-Con. So you have a couple of options here. That's pretty much all you get with the with the system itself. And for most people, that's going to be fine. But if you're a player like me who wants options, then there are a couple of accessories that you're absolutely going to want to pick up to fullest enjoyment of the system. Whether you're planning to use your Switch exclusively as a docked system or as a portable system with docking options or whatever you're planning on using your Switch for, you're always going to want to have an extra set of Joy-Cons. And my recommendation is to get a set of Joy-Cons that don't exactly match the color of the Joy-Cons that you currently have. I cannot tell you how much easier it is to keep track of what position what controller goes into, or keeping track of the location of all of my Joy-Cons when they're strewn about my room or something like that, or my house, knowing that they're all of different colors. Now, you can buy Joy-Cons in sets of 2, and keep in mind that when you buy a Joy-Con, whether it's in a set or 2 or not, it always comes with a wrist strap attachment that you can detach if you want to connect to the system. So you don't have to worry about buying any extra of these wrist strap things unless you break yours. Then in which case you'd have to go and buy some new ones, either from Nintendo or from the store. But it's always a good idea, regardless of how you intend to use your Joy-Con, however you intend to use your Switch, to get some extra Joy-Cons. Particularly, you're going to want to get at least 2 more. They're sold in packs of 2. And yes, you can mix and match them on your console. You can mix and match them however you'd like. But I definitely recommend getting ones of different color, just to make it easier to keep track of them. If you're a LAN gaming enthusiast like I am, and you like to have LAN parties at your house, or your friends like to have LAN parties, then I absolutely recommend getting the Wii USB LAN adapter. That's right, I said Wii, not Switch. Why? Because these USB adapters were originally manufactured for the Nintendo Wii. The thing is that they still work. These are fully compatible with not just the Wii, but also the Nintendo Wii U and the Nintendo Switch. Now, as you can see here, this is a USB device, not a USB-C device, but it does connect directly to the Nintendo Switch's USB ports on the dock. That's where you would connect this to. If you are involved in anything along the lines of fighting game tournaments like Pokken Tournament, and you're going to want to get the highest connection between two system consoles. Wireless is not going to cut it. You're going to need a wired connection, and this has proven itself to be the best adapter for the Nintendo Switch. All those third-party adapters that they're currently selling are not as good as this one. I know, I was surprised too. Couple of things I got to tell you about this if you intend to get it. The only place to get this is on Nintendo's Parts and Supplies website. Again, I don't think they make a variant specifically for the Switch in first party because they don't need to. As far as I know, there are plenty of these in stock. They may not have video cables anymore and stuff like that for the Wii, but they certainly have these. So I would definitely recommend getting them, especially if you plan on playing local matches against your friends while you're at home on consoles, like for games like Pokken Tournament. It's a good idea to get yourself a second Nintendo Switch power AC adapter. These cost typically around $30 US. They're pretty much sold at like every Best Buy and every most any place that sells Nintendo Switch accessories will usually have these first party AC adapters in storage somewhere or on sale somewhere. I've seen them at Walmart, I've seen them at Target, I've seen them at Best Buy. Now, your console is going to come with one of these. It's always a good idea to have a spare for a couple of reasons that I'm going to get into over the course of this video. As you can see here, this is a AV power adapter that goes, and this right here is a USB-C output, which is designed specifically to go into the USB-C port at the bottom of the Nintendo Switch or into the Nintendo Switch dock. It can also be used for other things, but it's a good idea because for most, the reason why you're going to want an extra one of these is because you're likely going to use the one that's given to you with the console exclusively for the dock. And it's a hassle to constantly have to take the dock apart and to go into your home theater system and stuff like that if all you need is if you need to constantly be pulling the AC adapter to charge accessories or to take your Switch on the go. Having a second AC adapter solves a lot of those problems. I know it's pretty expensive at the price of $30 US, but under no circumstances buy a third-party AC adapter or use a third-party AC adapter. Third-party AC adapters will brick Nintendo Switches. They will completely brick them. Do not buy a third-party one. If you aren't certain if the charger that you're buying is specifically Nintendo made, then you can buy it directly from Nintendo's website with most assurances that it will be first party. Next up, I wanted to bring attention to something that I didn't know existed, and I know I should have. I think I had heard about this, but I didn't know that Nintendo was actually making it themselves. I thought this was third party, but it's not. This is the Nintendo Joy-Con charging grip. Especially if you're going to have, if you've got a set of extra Joy-Cons like I do, it's always a good idea to constantly be, if you want to have multiple players, especially when you're playing games like when you're playing games like Super Smash Brothers, or you're playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and stuff like that, where basically you've got multiple controller options and you have multiple players playing at the same time. It's always a good idea to have an extra set of grips. Again, the Nintendo Switch comes with grips for controllers, but when you go out and buy a set of Joy-Cons, you do not get grips with them, and I really wish you had. This, on the other hand, is something that Nintendo made, I don't know how recently. This is $29.99 US, and it's almost identical in every way to a traditional Joy-Con grip, like the one that you would get with your system, with two exceptions. One, you can see that the grip is transparent on the bottom and on the back, which these are not transparent. The normal ones are not transparent. The other thing is that you can see on the top there is a USB-C charging port on the top, which basically means that if you plug Joy-Cons into this system and you plug the USB-C port in, and it actually comes with a USB-C to USB adapter so that you can actually plug the USB portion of the you can plug this USB cable directly into the dock, or you can charge it directly from the Switch power plug. You can basically charge an extra set of Joy-Cons as you play, because, well, if you've got yourself a Nintendo Switch dock, you can basically, this is your only option. Your only option without something like this is to simply, when your controller Joy-Cons die of battery loss, is to plug them directly into your console and plug your console directly into power. That's your only option. This is a godsend. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate this. So now I can charge more than 2 controllers at a given time, and I am so happy about it. Again, I know that there are third-party charging docks and stuff like that. Again, I don't trust them. Third-party accessories, bricked switches, I don't even want to know what a third-party dock is going to do to these Joy-Cons. So, yeah, this is first-party. This should work fine. If you plan on taking your Nintendo Switch out quite a bit, then you're going to want to pick up one of these. This is the Nintendo Switch adjustable charging stand. All this basically does is it plugs into the bottom of your Nintendo Switch and gives you a external, what's the word, stand here. This actually can retract, which I cannot do with just one hand. But this actually can extend so that you have a bit better charging stand than the one. So that you have a bit better stand than the one that actually comes with the console itself by itself. But particularly this is perfect for if you need to leave the console standing and charging at the same time. I know for a fact that a lot of people will prefer to use their Switches on the go in tablet mode, and they like to be able to charge the console while it's upright. With the current design of the system, you can't do that. So you can get this first-party adapter. This is a charging stand. This does not come with an AC adapter, but it will work with any, whether it be the AC adapter that you get with your console, or if you buy a Nintendo AC adapter, either will work. And then you can basically take your Switch on the go, put it in a reclined position in tablet mode, and use it all you'd like while it charges normally. This is $20. Now, Nintendo doesn't make a traveling case, at least not an official one. I don't think they ever have. So this part right here is only going to be if you intend to take your Switch on the go. If you intend not to, then ignore this bit. But what you're going to need is you're going to need some type of traveling case. I would recommend a soft one. This is made by PDP. It was included bundled with a whole bunch of stuff that was mostly useless, like a really lousy headset and just a regular, dust cloth and things like that. But the case is actually quite nice. It came with this huge pocket here, which is soft mesh, basically to keep the console, the tablet console. And there are these little soft pockets here for any physical games that you have. There's no room in it for other things. I've seen slightly larger ones that have, spots for accessories or extra arms for accessories and stuff. That's really not necessary as far as I'm concerned. But if you'd like, obviously get something that would fit all that. I believe this, bundled with the accessories that it did come with, cost an extra $50. That's a little bit of highway robbery. I think you could probably get these by themselves much cheaper. So yeah, only get something like this if it's on the go. But again, I recommend the specifications. Soft. This pocket is great. These pockets are great. So something like this. PDP makes this. This is about the only time this entire video that I'm going to recommend a third-party thing. And that's, again, only because Nintendo doesn't make their own official traveling case. Okay, now we're going to talk about the last accessory. And this one's got a bit of an asterisk because I don't expect everybody to get this. If you intend to play Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu or Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, you're going to want me to talk about the Pokemon, the Pokeball Plus accessory controller. This is a controller here that has a couple of buttons. It's designed specifically to work with Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. The first time you use it, you can use it to get Mew for your game. And it also can be used in conjunction with things like the Pokemon Go game for smartphones because it has a Bluetooth. I have used this. I have demoed this. I have been using it. As a controller, it is only useful in conjunction with if you're not planning on using your console in handheld mode. If you're going to use your console in handheld mode, I'm going to tell you this right now, it runs a million times better. The controls feel a million times better than using this. However, if you intend to use your console in docked mode, this is not a bad option to play. Particularly because it's a lot more fun and a lot more comfortable to use this for the capture mechanics in the game than it is to actually use the Joy-Con motion controls. So certainly something to keep in mind. Again, I would only recommend getting this under 3 circumstances, and you would have to qualify for all 3 of them. 1, you play Pokemon Go and you have a smartphone with a Bluetooth modem. 2, you plan on playing Let's Go Pikachu or Let's Go Eevee exclusively in dock TV mode. And 3, you want Mew. If you qualify for all those things, then I could totally recommend getting this. It charges via USB-C port directly in the back. It's currently covered because by default it is covered. It has a thumbstick button here that presses in for A, and the B button is up here. And it comes with this little USB-C to USB adapter, so that if you don't want to charge it directly from the Switch's charging cable, which you can do, you can charge it by plugging one end into the dock and the other end directly into your controller. You could also probably use this longer cable for charging other controllers if need be, because this is pretty short.